Welcome back to another ranking. 10 out of 11 freshmen performed their a cappella freestyles over the past 2 weeks, with the exception of Iann Dior, who apparently had different plans.
I never freestyle for free without charging niggas a fee. It'll cost you a brain cell just to cypher with me.
He refused to participate in the cyphers and freestyle sessions. That's why we only saw him in front of a green screen. I don't understand why you would make an appearance on the cover if you're not there to introduce yourself to a new audience and to convince everybody that you're a talented and skilled artist that deserves to be on the list. Don't give people a reason to dislike you without giving them a sample of what you're capable of. It comes off as arrogant and ignorant because you become a waste of space that hinders less fortunate artists to accomplish their dreams, to boost their careers and to make it on a big platform. Some of them will never get the same opportunities that you were given, especially as someone who's considered an industry plant. All I'm saying is, don't be like Gunna and run away after just a few photos. At least show some respect for XXL and the nominees. Anyway, let's start with the ranking.
Not for real. Before the deal, Youngin had it jumping off for real. Before the deal, Youngin had some money, I mean. Objective for the week, fine P's, 28.
In last place we have 42 Dugg, who didn't waste his precious bars for a meaningless freestyle.
Freestyle the written, spit it with infinite ammunition for anybody trying to go the distance.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I thought that this was gonna be trash, but if you closely listen to what he's saying, he's actually spitting garbage. 42 Dugg dug his own grave, as he's easily worse than Lil Mosey.
Goddamn, I feel like the man. Freshman of the year, I woke up like the man.
And even worse than Lil Keith.
Money grow old like green. Parents.
Well, maybe not. But it's definitely up there with the worst freestyles in history. On top of his nursery level rhymes about money and women, he had a poor delivery and low energy, which made the 30-second long freestyle extremely painful and challenging to listen to. But let's ignore his sleepy tone for once and analyze his lyrics to see if a bar went over our heads. The man rhymed real with deal, and then again with real, and then with deal. What a genius. He makes rapping seem so easy, even though his verse is one of the most intricate poems I had the pleasure to analyze. But let's continue. He rhymed 28 with 28, piece with piece, PJs with 3 ways, which is an impressive 2-syllable rhyme that he used to demonstrate his skills even though it doesn't make any sense. Then another 2-syllable rhyme, followed by the highlight of this entire verse, CMG and MeNG, which is a mind-blowing 3-syllable rhyme.
Syllables within fucking syllables within that 2 syllables within those 5 syllables. That shit is crazy.
Why the hell did he pick this verse? We all know it's not a freestyle, it's all written.
What made you go with that verse?
I don't.
What made you with that verse?
If your pen game is below average, then at least make sure to pick the best verse that you haven't shown us already, or else you will just embarrass yourself.
About 80,000 in these $1,000 jeans, so I'ma say. In the event a nigga play, I'ma make him throw in his flat. This for any that come in my way while I'm chasing his bag.
Mumble rap.
I mean, in
Take the cock out of your mouth and speak clearly, young man. Fuck this mumble blah blah blah. Speak clearly, let me hear what the fuck you're saying.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Number 9 goes to Pooh Shiesty, who rapped for 29 seconds and then he randomly started throwing money like he's at a strip club, just to pick it all back up when the cameras were off. That would have been the best part of the freestyle, to be honest. I mean, they call him Poop Shitty for a reason.
He said poop shitty. Fuck you, dude.
He performed just as I expected, but I was still surprised and disappointed for some reason. He sounded the same as on all his other songs. Same flow, same cadence, same level of energy, no substance, and you don't get the impression that he's actually rapping, He sounds like he's having a normal conversation with you. XXL just loves to put a finger in open wounds by asking us about our favorite bars in the freestyle. But this time they didn't even ask. Look past the non-existent content and pay close attention to his rhymes.
Sag, flag, bag, jag, fag, mad, damn, bag, bag.
Sag, flag, bag, mask. Wait. Mask doesn't rhyme with bag. And neither does Jakes with flag.
You just have to figure out the science to breaking down words and try to... I want to be able to have all these words at my disposal in my vocabulary at all times whenever I need to pull them out.
Flag, mask, sag, bag, ass. Wait a minute. Make him eat ass.
Well, let me tell you something. You might got more cash than me, but you ain't got the skills to eat a nigga's ass like me. Why the fuck are you so obsessed with eating rappers' asses?
I'm like, stay the fuck from round me. Booked, I'm too busy to be fucking with that clownery. Body work of art, they should put me in a gallery.
And here we go.
Bitches, bitch. Bitches, bitches, be hoes.
Bitch! Whoa!
Ruby.
That's it. I'm done.
Oh man, you can't give up rap just like that.
Rap schmap.
Man, how the fuck did she manage to sound offbeat without a beat?
Blueface, baby. Yeah,
She switched her flow more often than her boyfriends within a year. And I don't mean it in a good way.
Let me switch the flow.
Those long pauses in between her flows were also awkward as hell. But what made it even worse was the way she pronounced and dramatized her meaningless bars. She put so much force and energy behind every word that you would think that she's spitting some crazy bars straight off Biggie's rhyme books. But it was just a bunch of nothing. At first she was bragging about her money, car and material possessions. And then about paying people's salaries. And then she asked every broke person to keep a distance. She ran out of content after the 15-second mark of her freestyle. And guess what? She repeated those same lines over and over again.
Every time I pull up to the club, they pay that bounty. 100 on my wrist, I can pay these bitches salary. Pay my driver 6 figures so I can't have no broke niggas that's around me. Stay the fuck from round me. Please keep your distance if niggas is broke.
So you're paying your driver 6 figures, huh? Is that why you got mad at little TJ for not buying you a plane ticket? And why the hell are you scared of poor people? Do you have aporophobia?
Catch up, bitch, catch up. These bitches too slow. Bitch, I been a boss. Yeah, the biggest boss. Shout out Ricky Ross.
Pack your things. Get out of my building.
I was just...
You're fired!
I'm not popping out till I got a couple M's sitting right in my bank account. Yeah, I ain't popping out till I got a couple M's sitting right in my bank account. And my family depending on me. I'm the one that's gonna make it out.
I'm not a good freestyler, all right? I'm technical. Always been that way. There's 30 pages of rhymes in this motherfucker. Yeah. All right? So, all I want to do is spit my shit.
Next we have Coi Leray, who performed the verse from an unreleased song which she previewed in June 2020. And it's leaning towards a more melodic sound rather than traditional rapping. Treating writtens like a freestyle is of course a no-go, so I had to deduct points for that like every year. Her performance was definitely better than I expected though. She didn't necessarily impress me with her technical abilities, as there were in fact no punchlines or metaphors, and according to my calculations she also had the lowest score in vocabulary. You can find my formula and my calculations in the description box below if you're interested. Ignoring her weakness in terms of technical skills, I have to give praise for her voice, energy and delivery, which made her performance sound way more enjoyable than the rest of her songs. But this is probably because of the lack of autotune, so that's definitely an improvement. In the first part of her performance, she relied on melodic storytelling to touch on the topics of betrayal, trust and expectations from her family. Content-wise, it's the same generic, made it out the hood, turning nothing into something story that we heard from almost every single rapper. But nothing she said sounds authentic or believable in my opinion.
And my family depending on me. I'm the one that's gonna make it out.
I don't quite understand how her family is depending on her when her brother is a braggadocious lit rapper and when her father is a TV personality who co-owned the Source magazine, which is like the Bible of hip-hop. He has a net worth of $500,000, so she's definitely not coming from a poor household. So nobody in her family actually depends on her financially, especially when she's treating her father like shit and wasting her money on superficial things.
And this bitch ass nigga, Benzino, wants to fucking come online and start fucking with me, bro. At the end of the day, this ain't here to bash my father. I don't even mean to call a nigga a bitch ass nigga, right? But at the end of the day, that's a fucking bitch move, my nigga.
Then she's trying to convince everybody that she's paranoid and depressed, and that she has to numb down the pain with alcohol in order to keep her sanity. And 2 lines later, she's starting to brag about her expensive purse, shoes, chains, and her other material possessions. So there are obvious inconsistencies and contradictions, but I'm probably too old to understand all of this. Every rapper can be fake deep and braggadocious at the same time nowadays. Like, I'm depressed, look at my grills, look at my money, but I'm also depressed and sad, look at my car, admire me. But again, I blame it all on my age. There's probably nothing wrong with flexing yourself out of a depression. Anyway, in the second half of her freestyle, she switches her flow, voice and delivery, and goes back to her squeaky Playboy Cardi impression. That transition, however, was very abrupt and unpleasant to hear, as she switched from a bass-heavy voice with a clear delivery to a high-pitched tone while changing the pace of her flow. The end of the verse was also very underwhelming and awkward, because it sounded unfinished, as if a bar or two were cut off. But I'm probably just overanalyzing it, so let's just move on.
How could a broke boy ever play me? You ain't made shit, God made me. I'm a Bugatti and she a Mercedes. Money so long it go back to the 80s. I'm at the top cause you bitches is lazy.
Next on the list is Flo Milli, who had the shortest freestyle out of everyone, with a total length of 29 seconds. As I explained in my previous ranking, her voice is almost unbearable to me. Her flow and cadence is also the same as on every other song, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually a pre-written verse for a song that she'll drop in the next couple of weeks. She has zero versatility, not only sound-wise but also content-wise, arguing with either herself or some imaginary quote-unquote bitch who has the same arrogant personality as her and who also loves to argue. It's the same old I'm a ghetto-ass bitch, I got all the money, you ain't shit topic that she's always addressing. But her fans seem to enjoy it and they somehow never get tired of it. But let's take a look at some of her bars. And right off the bat, she's already in the middle of an argument with the boy who claimed that he made her. But I hope it's not her father that she's arguing with. That next line is a little suspicious.
You ain't made shit, God made me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that your parents made you, but I guess it's your opinion, so.
I'm a Bugatti and she a Mercedes.
Comparing women to cars or material possessions is normally something that misogynistic macho men do. And bad bitch rappers are now trying to mimic them to increase their own popularity and to draw attention from horny men. I don't know why you would brag about being an object though. Being for sale is nothing that you should be proud of, regardless of the price. But what do I know? I'm just an old man with internet access.
Money so long it go back to the 80s.
Makes no sense either. She's born in the year 2000, so how did she make money in the 80s? But I guess this is also her opinion, so I respect it.
I'm at the top cause you bitches is lazy.
You kind of shot yourself in the foot there with this one. This bar is basically saying that you're only famous because of the incompetence of your competition, implying that it's not actually your talent that got you to the top, but the relatively low expectations from your rap fans. And I can only agree with that statement. In the remaining lines, she's once again bragging about her superiority to the imaginary people she's arguing with. And then she ends it, by doing porn with a random dude that she just met. Very abrupt and confusing ending. It almost sounded like she cut off the rest of the verse. So this is also most likely a part of a song that she will drop soon, so stay tuned for that.
Lane switching, they ain't never gonna catch me. Fuck love when I said it, she left me. Then I made it and she wishes she kept me. I don't know you, baby, can you refresh me? Way richer than the first time you met me. Sit the addy if you wanna address me.
And next is DDG, who dropped a 34-second long freestyle which he probably wrote for this occasion only, just like all the fake freestyles that he posts all the time. A real freestyle, by definition, should either be a pre-written verse about random subjects, which is used during a live event, or a completely improvised rap performance. At least that's what I learned from OGs and pioneers like Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One and Kool Moe Dee. There is certainly no improvisation in anything that he calls a freestyle, but that's the case with almost everyone in every freshman class so far. But back to his performance. He starts off with no real introduction, rapping mediocre one-liners at full speed for 27 seconds until he hits the brakes and switches from a fast-paced flow to a slow one, rapping nursery bars that have absolutely nothing to do with anything. It kind of ruined the vibe of the overall freestyle, to be honest. This is one of those cases where the artist sounds better in the trailer than in the full freestyle, which was also way shorter than I expected. He was trying way too hard to sound lyrical, in my opinion. Instead of starting with some opening words in a normal pace and then slowly increasing it, he jumped straight in and gave us the high point of his freestyle right in the beginning, and from there it just went downhill. It ruined the overall enjoyability of his performance, as it was hard to get used to his tempo in the beginning, and by the time we got used to it, he gave us that awkward and disappointing ending. Now, let's analyze some of his rhyme schemes. And as you can see, he's ending the first 12 bars with the same word, while adding similar sounding verbs or just the same preposition or conjunction to create the illusion that every bar rhymes perfectly, when they're in fact not. But let me show you. In the first 2 bars he tries to rhyme catch with left, when they're obviously not rhyming. The same goes for every bar that follows. Kept doesn't rhyme with refresh, the same goes for met and address, and also for effect and attach. The only thing that actually rhymes is the word me, which he rhymed with itself. So he's mispronouncing his lazy bars and using a fast flow to disguise 2 words as a 2-syllable rhyme to convince you that he's an impressive lyricist, when in fact he's just rhyming the same words over and over again. The same formula is repeated in the next 2 lines, but with an additional word in between, that is used to disguise a 2-syllable rhyme as a 4-syllable rhyme. And afterwards he's forcing the 3-syllable word bipolar to rhyme with the 4-syllable word roller coaster, which under normal circumstances wouldn't work, but he added 2 more words at the end of both lines to once again cover up his incompetence.
Every single syllable, there's 5 syllables there, or 7. Compound syllables, multi-syllable rhyming, and you need to be like rhyming the syllables, every syllable, to be like a top tier lyricist.
Exactly.
Every syllable.
His verse also doesn't have much substance to it. He has a few decent punchlines here and there, but nothing really memorable, except for this one-liner right here.
Sit the addy if you wanna address me.
Not the most complex or mind-blowing bar in general, but it's probably one of the better lines I heard from him. But we also have a handful of questionable ones, or ones that absolutely make no sense. Like for example,
all bitches bipolar to me.
Not only is it extremely degrading and discriminating, but it most importantly makes no sense. You're putting everyone in the same category and then saying that they all have a bipolar disorder, in your opinion. But it's not something that you can have an opinion about. You either are bipolar or not. There is no subjectivity or opinion involved. Doctors have to perform physical examinations and lab tests in order to diagnose it. He can't just determine it by a stupid opinion.
Internet should never affect me.
This one doesn't make sense either. DDG owes his entire existence to YouTube and the internet.
You don't exist before YouTube, cause you ain't really paid no dues.
As a transition to the final remarks about his deceased brother, he uses 4 stupid and out-of-place filler bars in which he's telling a story about having oral sex with a woman and starting a beef because of it. What a wonderful way to pay your respect.
I know you love me, although we argue, let's just be honest. For me to say you not the best, think I be being modest.
I know you love me, although we argue, let's just be honest. For me to say you not the best, think I be being modest.
I'ma just spit my shit from the top, the way that I was rehearsing it. You understand me? Let me spit my shit. Nah, fuck that!
My boy thought that he could hide the song from me by deleting it from SoundCloud. But guess what?
It's nowhere to run to, baby. There's nowhere to hide.
But anyway, his verse is basically an open letter to his mother in which he's contemplating about his past. while using a flow that is fluctuating in pace to express a large variety of emotions, and to paint vivid pictures with his storytelling. I really enjoyed his performance and appreciated the fact that he chose a different route than his peers. I mean, at least he didn't brag about his material possessions for 30 seconds like others did. It actually reminded me of the song Dear Mama by Tupac. Of course not in terms of quality or the overall amount of quotable lines, but based on the concept. Lyrically it was more on the plain side, nothing sophisticated or impressive, or filled with punchlines or wordplay. There were in fact no lines that stuck out or anything that is memorable. But overall it was fairly well executed, aside from all the lines Waze calling out his mother.
Me mama, 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 your mama, mama, your mama.
They said I'd be dead by 16, I guess them niggas was just lying and shit. Bitch, I'm alive and I know that you hate it, wishing you go blind and shit.
On number 3 we have Morray, who by far had the best flow, cadence and energy out of everyone else on the list. As far as freestyling goes, I'm pretty sure that it's pre-written. Most likely an unreleased song that is nearly identical to his remaining catalog. He uses the same melodic but energetic style that people love him for. It reminds me more of an America's Got Talent performance than a traditional freestyle. But I must admit that his voice is impressive. Content-wise it was painfully generic, and at some points he was incomprehensible due to him mispronouncing or mumbling words. The majority of his lines are basic, and some don't even make sense.
They said I'd be dead by 16, I guess them niggas was just lying and shit.
A prognosis can never be a lie. It's just a prediction based on assumptions, and depending on the outcome of an event, it's either true or false, and the false statement is different from a lie. And that alone already ruined a huge part of his freestyle, as he messed up the only lines where he's telling a story. The next 16 bars are generic "they hated me and now I'm getting rich as a bitch" type of lines that we already heard a million times. Then we get a few filler bars about the money he's making and his success, until we reach the final part where he's trying to give us a few punchlines, which are quite underwhelming in my opinion.
Giving them raw with no magnum, giving them wood like a cabinet, I'm a surpasser.
And once again he's addressing a random group of people that he's trying to surpass, attack or prove wrong. Very random and with no connection to anything. Fresh as the Coast and Ball Like a Maverick are also painfully generic and overused lines that I already heard a billion times. And then he ends it with another stupid mistake.
This is a doctrine, yeah, closing the hip-hop wound like doctors, yeah.
This bar sounds great and also truthful, as he's easily the most talented artist on this list, but it doesn't really make sense. I admit, the words sound very similar, but a doctrine has nothing to do with doctors. A doctrine is a set of beliefs held by a group or a stated principle of government policy. Doctors, on the other hand, are educated people who are qualified to treat humans and animals that have some type of illness. Just pick up a dictionary next time or do a 2-minute Google search to avoid such mistakes. So yeah, a lot of people in the comments seem to be impressed by those lines, even though they contain mistakes. He messed up the beginning and ending of his verse, which is something that he should have avoided at all costs, as they're the exact same parts that people memorize the most.
They told me stay hungry and stay consistent. I'm standing on niggas' necks, I ain't worried about competition, I did it.
Number 2 on the list is Lakeyah, who in contrast to Morray had the best introductory and closing lines out of everyone. In the beginning she's talking about an advice that she received in the past to stay hungry and consistent in order to be successful, and in the end she's taking that advice to heart to make a prediction for the future, saying that she will take over the game this summer. Her delivery and energy, along with her non-conceptual, braggadocious but sophisticated lines, worked well in my opinion, and she even had a few decent punchlines. Her rhyme schemes and techniques are superior to almost everyone else in the class, who mainly used simple 1 or 2 syllable rhymes at the end of each bar. She even had a few inner sentence compound syllable rhymes, like for example,
really the definition of coming from rags to riches. I'm a rich daughter, shit talker, I'm the shit. They some imposters rapping about shit they never did.
Those lines are of course not mind-blowing or anything, but it really surprised me that she's the only one in the class who's still doing it. Shout out to Rakim, by the way, for revolutionizing the game in the mid to late 80s and for introducing us to compound and multisyllabic rhymes. But yeah, aside from her rags to riches story and her shit talking about money and accomplishments, there isn't really much content, unfortunately. But I liked the overall structure of the verse and the way she executed it with a nice flow and cadence. And it also sounded like a real freestyle, not a verse from an actual song.
I just left Malibu, mood on gratitude. I can be grateful with a lavish view. Crazy with just dedication, planning and some passion, dude.
Number 1 on the list is Blxst, who checked all the boxes on my rating system, from storytelling to wordplay and rhyme schemes. He really surprised me with this one, especially because of the type of music he's making. He's leaning towards a more melodic sound, and that's why I didn't really expect him to have wordplay and punchlines. So him out-rapping everybody on the list, especially the ones who claim to be top-tier lyricists, was truly unexpected. He had a couple of nice one-liners like,
do I really gotta explain? The underdog really offered a chain. I'm cold, I done sat and talked with Jermaine.
He name drops Jermaine Cole or J. Cole by using the same pun and wordplay that Jermaine used on his debut album, Cold World.
Cold world, cold life, cold-blooded.
Probably the best part of this freestyle was how he incorporated punchlines into storytelling, which he used to talk about his accomplishments in life and some of the cosigns he got from legends in the game. After name-dropping Nas, J. Cole and The Game, he also mentions DJ Mustard and his debut album 10 Summers, and ends it with a Jesus Christ reference, The Last Supper, which marked his final meal with his apostles in Jerusalem, before being betrayed by Judas, which led to his crucifixion. The only thing I will criticize is his sense for rhythm. He snapped his fingers throughout the freestyle to create a beat and to control his cadence, just like Roddy Ricch in 2019. Sometimes he forgot to snap, or snapped too late or too early, so that it messed up his pace and he sounded disoriented in the process. It's a huge distraction, not only for himself, but also for the listener. Your multitasking skills are not good enough to rap and snap at the same time. That's why I don't recommend it, especially not for a freestyle. The vocalist should not have to worry about anything else but his vocals. That's why there were hype men and beatboxers in the past to do the job and to provide a simple beat.